Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. Today we will be working with Dexter. This is Dexter. We actually picked him up because he needs some training. So we are going to actually do a video series with him on different training things that you can do with an adult dog. So I'm really excited to share this training series with you guys. If you don't already use NuVet, be sure to click the link in the description or use our code to order. I have another video coming about why we love NuVet and the benefits of using the great supplement for the pups we love. Thank you all for watching. So here he is in his kennel. I walked in and I want him to be calm. Obviously he's really excited here, so I'm going to walk up to him and I'm just going to squat down next to him, as you can see in the video, and I'm just going to wait for him to calm down before I actually start touching the gate. He started scratching, so here you'll see me correct him. I just kind of tap on the kennel and I said no, and that seemed to help him snap out of it because he was in a really excited state. So now he's just looking at me and he's waiting to see what I want of him. And so I open the gate. This is one of the techniques that you can use. You can open and shut the door on them. Just gently, you don't need to slam it in their face or anything. But you just kind of close it if they're going to try and make their way out. So I'm just closing it here and opening it and waiting for him to really be calm and patient. So I left it open for a little bit. He's really attentive to me now, waiting to see what I need. I called him out, and now I'm going to put the collar on him, but he's really excited still. So I put him back in the kennel after I got the collar on, and now I want to show the other technique that you can use is just opening it and then correcting them with your hands. This one is a little bit more difficult for some people, so I find the closing and opening the door helps a lot in the beginning stages, and then you can work on this stage where you open the door and you work on them just listening to your hand motions and your commands. So this is a really good method to advance to. So I'm correcting him back. I'm sending him back without touching him. I want him to be able to go back by himself. So I'm just kind of fiddling with the leash here. I'm trying to distract him and get him to come out without actually being called out, if that makes any sense. So I'm just fiddling around and waiting. I want him to be really patient, and now I'm going to clip the leash. He's trying to come out, so I gave him a correction and kind of held him there, and he went back, and I'm waiting for him to be calm again. I want him to wait until I invite him out. So now I invite him out here, and he's still really excited. So now we need to work on doorway training, which there's a video for that. I'll link that at the top for you guys if you haven't seen that already. So now I need him to stay calm and wait. I need him to follow me out the door. So right now I'm just making him sit by the door if you haven't seen that video already. So this is just common stuff that we do. So he's working on this for the first time with me. So he does really well. He picks it up really quickly, as you can see here in the video. So he sits, so I reward that with walking forward. He was a little unsure what side I wanted him to walk on, so I used the wall to my benefit to keep him on my right side, which is where I want him to walk. That's just the side I picked because I'm right-handed. I have more control with my right hand. So now I'm walking him up to the doorway. And again, same thing. I want him to be calm at this doorway. I need him to follow me and not try and lead. So he has a little bit of trouble doing that. He always wants to walk ahead, and I need him to follow my lead so he's not lunging or feeling like he needs to be in so he's not feeling like he needs to lead anybody anywhere, and he can just follow me along and enjoy his walk. So I'm waiting, and he picked it up pretty quickly. I relaxed my leash, and now I opened the door. He tried to dash out, so again, I just kind of held the leash. There's a little bit of tension on the leash, and then I relaxed it to reward him. That is his reward, and I gave him a good boy, and he waited there a little bit longer, and I wanted him to make sure that he understood that he needed to wait while the door was open. I gave him a little correction there because he was kind of sniffing. Now I walked out, and I gave him a command, just no, because he seemed like he was going to come out, and then I let him follow me out the door. So here is where he is pulling. This is how he wants to walk on the leash. When we go for a walk, this is obviously not a good way for him to walk. Not only is he pulling on his own throat with his collar, but also it's just not a great way to walk because he's in control here, and this is what causes barking and issues with where
dogs walk past and they want to lunge, just like you can see here, he's lunging at Marius too. He wants to go after him and he's kind of barking at him. So we're going to work on that too. That's going to be a progression. But here I'm just going to walk him around. I'm going back and forth, so this is one of the methods that you can use, is you can actually just switch directions. So when he starts pulling away that I don't want him to, I turn around and I walk the other direction. So this is just kind of training him to get used to me and to follow where I'm going. So right now he's really confused. You can see him pulling against the leash. He's really trying to get away, but he starts to pick it up really quickly in the video, as you'll see. So I'm just switching directions constantly. I just want him to really be attentive to me and to follow which way that I'm walking. He should be able to pick this up eventually, where he'll know instinctually where I'm going already, and there's not going to be really any pulling. He's just going to feel a slight tension on the leash, and he'll correct himself to stay next to me. So he's actually doing better than I thought he was going to do. He corrected pretty quickly with the change in directions. So I'm just walking different directions. I try going side to side to give you guys a better view, and I'm just walking around. So I don't want to bore you guys with too much of the same footage, so I'll probably just fast forward here in a bit. I recommend you start here first and just kind of go in a controlled environment, if it's a driveway or a backyard or anywhere that you can practice, really. But just practice in a controlled area first if your dog is struggling to walk on a leash.
So how you always want to hold the leash is it's always going to go across your body. You have more strength this way. So you hold it in one hand. I like to loop it shorter just so I have a little bit more control, but you can use the thumb loop too. I like a leather lead because it's easier on your hands. But again, I just like to loop mine, and I hold like this and like this. That way I can control and I can bring him back.
So you just want to hold the leash like that, because if they do pull away from you, you have two hands that are holding against, so they can't really pull you. I mean, a Havanese isn't a very large dog, but it's still a good habit to have. I try running around a little bit to see if I can get him a little bit more pumped and see if that distracts him a little bit. I'm 5 weeks postpartum here, so it's not... I'm not in the best of shape, so I didn't jog very long. But again, I'm just changing directions to give you guys a better view as well, and also to just work with Dexter. Seeing the circle kind of threw him off, but he's doing really well being attentive to me. And now I'm just waiting, and I'm trying to have him sit. He's very attentive to me, looking at me, so I was giving him some eye contact and telling him good boy, and just kind of looking at him to see if his attention would stay on me and if that would distract him once we started going again. So I readjusted my leash and I started walking again, and he did really well. He's really excited to have my attention, it seems like. He really liked working this exercise with me. So we just continue to walk up and down. He's following me really nicely, so I really was impressed with him overall. I did some circles, and he was still interested in different noises that were going around and cars that were driving down the other streets that he could hear. But overall, he did really well. I tried some fast change of directions here just to keep him on his toes, to make sure that he was really paying attention to me, because I could tell he was starting to get really distracted. So the fast change just kind of switched it up a little bit so that he was ready to be attentive to me again and really had to focus on which direction I was going. So that kind of snapped him out of it. You'll see he's starting to pay more attention to me, but he gets distracted a few more times. So he struggles with lunging and wanting to pull away, as you can see right there. So I just kind of hang on to the leash. I give him a slight correction if he's pulling too hard. This is another technique that you can use, is you can stop when they're pulling, and then you can also just stop randomly. So here I'm just kind of stopping randomly to make sure that he's stopping with me. He starts getting distracted again, as you can see, so he doesn't completely follow, but he does really well with stopping. As soon as I stop, he's ready to stop. So that's a really good thing, because I want him to not feel like he's leading, and when he stops when I stop, it really shows that he's paying attention to what I want. Right here he sat, which was really good. He also scratched himself because he's just doesn't like the new collar that I put on him because it's a little bit thicker. But I gave him some pets because he's doing a really good job, and I was really impressed that he's really being attentive to me. So we just did about 20 minutes of this overall. It wasn't too terrible. I cut some of it out because, again, it gets really repetitive. And I gave him more praise because he's doing a really, really good job here. He's really, really impressed me. He got really attentive. I don't want him to jump on me like this, so I'm just walking into him. And I want him to stop. So you'll see he pops down. And he doesn't jump on me again, which is really good. He really picked that up fast. So that's a method you can use too. If they're jumping on you, you can walk into them. Just gently, just walk towards them, and you kind of claim your space when you do that. So I just did some stop and go here, which is something that you can practice. I recommend you practice with your dog and make sure that they're willing to stop with you and they're not going to drag you or try and pull you anywhere else. So I just stopped for random periods of time. He got really excited with the leaves and the wind blowing. So I took that as an opportunity to really walk him still longer because all of the leaves were really distracting him. So this is a really good time to practice with him that he needs to pay attention to me even when there's distractions like blowing leaves running around all over the ground. So he did really well there. He didn't react to what I kicked again right there. He was kind of aware of it, but he didn't really jump to it. He kept trying to jump to the other side of the grass for some reason. There was a lot of leaves and little ants there. I don't know why he wanted to go on that side, really. There's multiple reasons I didn't want him to go on that grass. So I walked him near it because I wanted him to practice staying next to me, even if he got a few feet on it. So I walked him as close as I could without really letting him get too much on the grass. It was good practice for him to not want to lunge away and to really follow me. So he picks it up pretty quickly too. And he starts to really get it here, so he did a really good job. And then I walked the other way to kind of reinforce that he was doing a good job staying away from where he kept trying to lunge and what we walked around. So I walked the opposite direction with him being in the inner part of the circle. Again here, he was trying to be on the wrong side, but he corrected himself really well. So I gave him some pets because he did a really good job there. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. There's only more training videos to come and more grooming videos as well. Thank you so much for watching.